It's always fun to do a game based on a famous monster or creature, so it was kind of right up my alley.
Dun, 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 dun.
No way.
Everybody knows about JAWS. I mean, it's like the biggest blockbuster ever. I love the story of the movie. It's really interesting.
So it's summer at Amity Island in 1974. Brody's first day on the job as sheriff, and everything's going normal. Then suddenly this dead woman shows up on the beach and it's a shark attack. And that's basically where we're jumping into the movie to just kind of bring this world to life in the pinball machine.
Keith did most of the planning. His idea was basically to make this more like a story where you're playing through the movie and you're seeing different parts of the movie as you're playing the modes.
It's pretty cohesive. Everything works together really well. It feels very JAWS. Anything in the game that looks photorealistic and like as if we're trying to match the realism in the movie, we had to sort of make it look like a 70s movie. So like the fish finder, the behind the fin cam, all of that stuff, we had to put like a 70s grain over everything to make it look like it belonged with JAWS. The entire package has that campy 70s JAWS feel.
We got Richard Dreyfuss doing the call-outs, and the coolest part about that is he bought me a bag of donuts. So I flew out to California to meet Dreyfuss. We met in a recording studio, and we changed lines back and forth, and it was really cool working with him.
We got 3 barrels on it. Okay, so we drink to our legs.
We were so fortunate to get Richard Dreyfuss to do custom speech, and we got the main theme song, the original recording from John Williams, and we were able to get another great track that we were able to cut up into 2 or 3 pieces to use in other parts. It really brings the game to life with authenticity because you're hearing the actual sounds from the movie.
Fast fish. This sharp. Swallow you whole.
This game is kind of Team Elwin's latest attempt at taking some traditional pinball elements, moving targets, upper playfields, kind of putting their own new, unique spin on it.
My first thought was to put a moving fin target in the machine, so basically a moving drop target that can move around and simulate JAWS swimming under the water.
So this mech presented sort of unique challenges, right? We needed a fin that could move, across that arc. We needed a pop-up target, and then because of that pop-up target effect, we actually needed to work on essentially shrinking the depth of a standard pinball stand-up target. So a couple iterations, and we actually landed on this carbon fiber backer, which to my knowledge is the first composite part in a pinball machine. We do a lot of testing on our products, putting them through accelerated wear testing. And that ultimately ran for about 6 to 7 months before we finally signed off and approved the mech for commercial use.
So hitting the fin has a lot of rewards, which is good because it's such a dangerous shot. So you got to fire the flippers into the fin and get it to drop, which will bring the actual shark mech out of the playfield.
I feel like half of the game and half of the movie is the building of the idea that there's a shark under the water. And then the other half of the game is that you're battling the shark. And that's exactly what Sheriff Brody did in the movie.
Yeah, so the iconic scene of JAWS is the end of the movie, the climax of the movie, where Chief Brody's got his rifle and sharks coming at him in the water, and it's the smell you son of a boom, right? So that's kind of where Keith and I started, right? We need to give the player that experience. The logical pinball mech to do that is a scoop, right? You need an open mouth, you need to shoot the pinball in there. We built that mech, but you couldn't see the shark at all. You could not tell. Trying to solve that big, where's the shark, it's coming at you, it's in your face. That necessitated building a mech that moved the shark up, closer to the player, more out of the playfield, more pronounced.
And then we did a bunch of iterations on the shark busting out from the bottom of a boat.
And that's where we landed on this guy. There's a carriage that moves up and down on a DC motor with 2 switches. And now because we're not shooting into the mouth, we're shooting into the shark, kind of his lower chin lines up with the playfield. So when the player interacts with it, there's a switch in here to detect hits, pops up, punch the shark, goes back down into the playfield. That's kind of the progression that we decided on.
Software controls everything in the game. The shark coming up is a moment in the game, but we add a light show, we add sound effects, we add call-outs, so you feel that excitement while playing.
Shoot!
Our boat in the middle of the playfield was a kind of a Newton design that I had tinkered with, where you can shoot the ball from different angles and hit different targets in the back. There's a scene in the movie where Ben Gardner's boat is just trashed, and the shark had apparently been there. So You're seeing it happen in the game, and the shark's attacking the boat. And when you do hit the ball, you kind of see a little surprise underneath the ball when you do hit it.
That is Ben Gardner's boat with his head bouncing around inside there, hitting a bunch of things.
So basically, you're setting sail, you grab your chum bucket, you're throwing the chum in the water, and as you do, each time you hit the bucket, you're filling up the chum line. So we wanted a way to keep track of how many chum hits you needed to bring up the shark, so we came up with the chum meter, which is just a series of LED lights, and as you hit him, it goes from this cool blue water effect to this blood effect, which is this cool little RGB effect we have in this giant insert.
It's a shark in the water. We need the water to light up, right? And that tied in perfectly to the chumming rules, progressing chum, blood through the water.
So here we have the upper playfield. It's basically the giant toy, if you will.
Early in the conceptualization of this game, the very first thing he laid out was Orca playfield on the back left, facing the player.
We entered the Orca from this little ramp over here. You come down and kind of sidewinds through here to your flipper. From here you have 3 shots.
The big thing Keith wanted when laying this out was any shot you made successfully on this immediately took you off it.
You're not going to waste much time up there because every shot leads to a drain.
So it's part of the flow, it's part of the rules. But you're not up there for 20 minutes at a time flailing away at something.
Keith was playing the game and realized, hey, if you hit the wave ramp into the upper playfield, hit the upper ramp there, it will come down in such a way that you can quick shot the fin. And we kept iterating and iterating and iterating and making that more and more fun.
You know, we have all these sonar effects, these life rings, these fishing reels, these ship wheel spinners. You know, those are all round. What if we lit up the speakers and tied them together?
The LE has these really cool speaker lights that are on the back panel. So the speaker rings will mimic what the LEDs are doing on the playfield.
When you're doing the fish finder, you're doing the sonar mode, the lights and the speaker rings actually kind of follow along with the game. As you hit the chum bucket, they gradually fill in red as more and more chum enters the water. They're very interactive and very cool. If you're logged in Inside or Connected, during the gameplay you can earn shark teeth. You can redeem these shark teeth for a challenge mode, earn a certain amount of shark jaws, and you advance your bounty hunter rank. So this is your online rank. You can compare your rank to your friends. You start off as a minnow and you work your way all the way up to great white. And you get enough of these shark teeth and it unlocks a special mode where you can actually play as the great white in kind of this 8-bit world. Basically the tables have turned and you are the aggressor. In the movie, you see, the kids on the beach playing this game called Killer Shark. So I thought, wow, we got to do something very similar to that. It'd be very cool to have a video mode. I've never had one in any of my games.
The video mode was one of the coolest things to work on in this game because it had like the retro feel from the movie. We made a prototype early on of the video mode that was basically just cut sprites from the actual slide that was used in the 70s.
And everyone loved it. We just couldn't stop playing it. So we're like, hey, you know what? We should take this a little bit further, add levels to it, and maybe we can even make it 3D because, JAWS 3D is one of the movies in the quadrilogy.
Setting up 2 cameras just at like slightly varying angles, and then you tint one cyan, one red, and offset them in the video, and it ends up popping out.
You do not need a pair of 3D glasses to effectively play this game, but it is super cool.
It was really awesome that JAWS was debuted at CES. It looks like everyone was having a lot of fun. I saw people start multi-ball. I saw people laughing at some of the humor that we threw into the game.
I mean, I think people are excited about JAWS because it's just always been considered one of the greatest movies ever, and hopefully it'll be one of the greatest pinballs ever.
You're going to feel like you're on the Orca and that you're hunting alongside Quint. And if you're not quick, you're going to get bit.
First of all, it's a Keith game. Everything Keith touches is gold, and there's a shark that pops up out of the playfield, so yeah.
It's one of those just timeless, great themes that works well for pinball, I think. So you want to know what it takes to make a pinball machine. Going to need a bigger CAD file.